Hello, welcome back to Fist Entertainment for my next review. And that'll be out of this cool box set, the Predator 4-film 4K collection. Now this next one I actually saw in theaters twice. And at the time, I really appraised this movie. And that, of course, is, let's make sure I got the year right on this. Looks like 2010. Make sure here. Yeah. That would be 2010's Predators. Okay. 2010's Predators. I think it's 2010's. I'm pretty sure it's 2010. Yeah. 2010's Predators. Alright. Where did I start with this movie? First, let's talk about the plot. The plot is interesting on this film. But that's about the only interesting thing there is about this movie. The only thing I like about this movie is the plot. We'll get into the rest later. Alright, the plot of the film is basically a bunch of random people wake up and find themselves in some jungle. And they find themselves in the jungle from free falling from a plane, basically, and they don't know anything else. They band together and they discover that they're being hunted. And then they think it's Earth, but they're not on Earth, they're actually on another planet. And they were brought from Earth, abducted, and brought to this planet to be hunted. And each one of them basically represents the basically what is perceived is a predator of the human race. One's a mercenary, which is our main character played by Adrien Brody. One is a special forces sniper. One is a cartel enforcer. One is a Yakuza enforcer. One is a convict, escaped convict. One is a serial killer. And one is a Anita pirate or something along those lines out of Angola. So you have one's a not special forces soldier fighting conflicts in Russia, basically. And they all have to band together to try and survive. And of course, they're all picked up off one by one until you have like 2 or 3 left. And then eventually, it's basically a rehash of the first film. It's brains versus brawn, really. Which brings to what I don't like about the film. What I don't like about this film is the same thing that I do not like about 2009's Friday the 13th. I don't like it when people are lazy. And the plot of this film may be fun, and it's definitely not Robert Rodriguez's fault. But they were trying so hard to do this. They were so destined and desperate to capitalize on the success of the first film and to take as much as they possibly could from that first landmark film, Predator, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and integrate anything and everything they could out of that movie into this movie, Predators. It's like all over the place. It's all over the place. The Russian Special Soldiers mini gun that he uses is similar to Jesse Ventura's in the first movie. You have all of them going into these waterfalls and and stuff like that and going over them. like Schwarzenegger does towards the third act of the film. You have Adrian Brody camouflaging himself with freaking mud to outsmart the Predator, just like Schwarzenegger does in the fourth act of the film. I mean, there's so much taken from the first film and put into this film that it makes you wonder if the plot of the film was where all the creativity went, but when it comes to the execution of the plot, there just really wasn't any effort put in at all. The acting is very, very bad, and it's cool and interesting seeing somebody smaller than I am kicking the crap out of the Predator, as if he's some elite, badass, as opposed to Schwarzenegger, which is more believable. But it's not believable that Adrian Brody could step into the shoes of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that right there is, kind of part of the freaking little problem, and how dumb the characters are in this film. I mean, you had this Mother Teresa type for our Special Forces sniper that just keeps trying to be humane all the time. And you have our main character, which is, of course, our mercenary, trying to tell her, you got to watch and tame that big heart of yours, because it's gonna bite you in your ass at some point. And it certainly does. And just some stupid tropes about the characters in this film. But ultimately, it is a very fun movie and an enjoyable watch, yes. But it's not something you're going to want to go back and watch again and again and again. I can definitely say that. The quality. Well, this film was made in 2010, so the 4K quality is a lot better. This one definitely is a lot better. But whoever restored and remastered these films for 4K obviously wasn't that big of a fan of Predators either, because it's not like it's a reference quality 4K release by any measure. You can just tell that things are brighter, but contrast, and you have deeper blacks in some areas of the film and stuff, and that there's a lot more detail. You can definitely tell all that. There's some interesting scenes, like for example, when the scene where you see the other moons and they figure out they're on, another planet, they're not on Earth. There's some pretty good HDR10 use there, and darker scenes and stuff like that, yes. But I could definitely say that they didn't put as much effort as I would have liked them to put into the picture. But it is a little bit better than generic for a 4K, I would say, on average. The 5.1 DTS HDMA, much like Predator 2, this is a very generic one, but it does at least have more going on. And the reason why it has more going on with the effects and stuff like that is because this was designed to be in DTS HDMA. But it's not that great of a DTS HDMA sound presentation. It's definitely not. It's basically average. You're going to have some good effects and stuff into it, but it's nothing to write home about. It's not like Predator, where you had your subwoofer roaming in the room and shit. But yeah, it's a pretty fun sound presentation, yes. But ultimately, this is the first bad Predator film. Now, does this one play out like a horror film as well? Well, that's the point. All of these kind of do play out as horror films, if you let them. It's kind of like the Alien films, and I know that I got a little bit of, people debating it out with me on the comment sections on the Alien movies, but you know what? I'm okay with that, because I like it. I don't mind opening up discussions of debate. As long as I don't get cussed at and people don't try to attack me on my channel, then yeah, we have a problem with that, but that's never happened. But I can definitely say that I do understand why people will look at this as a sci-fi action adventure film series, but I look at it as a sci-fi horror fantasy series more than an action adventure series, because you literally, much like you have Jason, a lot of the reason why people that go to these Predator films is not to watch some big guy or some underdog human go up and take down an alien. They go to these Predator films to watch the Predator kill people. And that is much like going to a Friday the 13th film to watch Jason Voorhees kill people. are going to a Nightmare on Elm Street film to see how Freddy Krueger's going to outsmart and use everybody's weaknesses and everybody's desires against him in the dream world and kill him. People go to these movies for that, and people go to a Predator film to see all the innovative kills and see the Predator do his thing. That's what they go to these movies for. It's not to watch all the other stuff. Is to see this Predator do his thing, and that's essentially why I kind of consider it kind of a sci-fi horror film series and not necessarily an action adventure series, because you're going to watch the villain kill people, really. But I'm okay with people's debate on that. It doesn't bug me. Well, that's my views on not completely disgraceful, but lacking an effort 2010 movie Predators. If you haven't seen Predators, check it out, and I'll see you on the next one.